So once you have your rotor and your stencil set up in the magnet jig and you have an appropriate number of magnets in the magazine to properly dispense, and you have your glue dispenser on and working, you should be able to calibrate the magnet dispenser, and then we can go ahead and begin placing magnets. So what we'll do here is we will apply the activator by hand to each of the pockets, and then we can go ahead and begin the dispensing process. The magnet dispenser will dispense the glue for you, but you do have to ensure that you do the activator by hand. And we should be good to go and run the full rotor. So it'll go around and it will dispense glue for each of the north faces. And it will begin to dispense magnets. So once we have all of the north poles placed, we can go ahead and flip the magnet orientation in the dispensing magazine. The program will prompt us to reapply the activator to the south-facing pole pockets, so we can go ahead and do that. We can then tell the program that we have finished those steps and are ready to proceed. And we'll begin the whole process over again, placing the south poles. So now that all the magnets are placed, we can go ahead and remove the rotor from the magnet placing jig, and we can go ahead and remove the magnet stencil once those magnets are cured onto the rotor. This completed rotor is ready to be integrated into an ECM machine. With your magnets fully cured and on your rotor, we are now ready to put together the frameless assembly and onwards to the completed motor. So we'll start by putting our rear rotor on our hub shaft assembly. This hub has already been thermal fit to the shaft, so we can go ahead and slip that in. You'll note that there's a mark on the hub and a mark on the rotor. When those two are aligned like so, you know you have the correct orientation. We can then go ahead and put the screws in through the rotor into the hub. We can then go ahead and put our stator into the assembly. Make sure you note your orientation mark on the bottom rotor, because the orientation of the top rotor with respect to the bottom will matter. Make note of your correct stator orientation as well, and make sure you have that into the assembly correctly before you lower things down. You can then lower the top rotor onto the bottom. Once you have screws through the top rotor and your bearings are put into place, we can go ahead and put the frameless assembly into our rear housing. Ensure that it's fully seated into the rear housing, and then we can go ahead and put our stator screws in. We can then go ahead and put our Belleville spring onto the top rotor. This ensures that proper preload is delivered to the bearing system. With the case pins pushed correctly into the housing front, we can then go ahead and put the housing front onto our motor. Ensure things are lined up correctly, and we can go ahead and put our housing screws in. Once your housing screws are in, your motor is complete.